What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of My Hero Academia. Links in the description. You guys know the drill. Nobody watches these reviews, so yeah, head on down there and head on over to the link in the description. For those of you who do want to actually hear my thoughts on the show, here we go. So, with this episode, I had said last review that I was thinking that it's probably going to be one or two episodes left of this test, and then there's probably going to be something else that happens. And then I pieced together, oh yeah, duh, there's multiple stages to this provisional license test, and there was. But for this episode, we finally get to see Bakugo pass with Kirishima and forget his name. There's so many freaking students. Electricity guy, forget his name. But anyway, Kaminari. We get to see them pass after facing off against the weird dude whose quirk is called Meatball, where essentially he can do stuff with his hands and flesh where he can turn or mush people into little meatballs. It was really gross, but they got out of that because even with Bakugo being as brash and as aggressive as he is, he was able to think far enough ahead to chuck a grenade to Kaminari, and that was enough to help them fight. And we also see Kaminari's new ability with his little shooter, where essentially it's just a conductive piece of material that he can point and shoot his quirk at, and it passes through whoever's between him and the conductive little disc that he shoots. That was such a cool ability. And then we see Kirishima and Bakugo take that dude out after all was said and done, and super excited Windy Dude was not happy about that. And neither was Giant Wookie or Morphin Girl. Actually, Morphin Girl didn't seem to care. I can't remember all the names, so forgive me, that's just kind of how I remember them. We then also see Sero and Uraraka's plan come to fruition and actually help, because Deku really didn't have much else of a plan other than what we had established last episode, but Sero and Uraraka actually set up a trap, which was really cool. So he said, or Sero told Deku to carry him and jump. And so he did that, and Uraraka released these rocks with tape on them to tape people down to the ground. And we see one of these guys, this is such a high school thing when it comes to trying to pass things, or a very immature thing, which as people try to become heroes, that level of immaturity is not really something that is fitting of a hero. The guy goes, oh, come on, you guys are first years, cut us some slack, we have to pass. And it's just because they're first years doesn't mean they don't want to pass as badly as you do. And Deku's just I do too. I have to pass this year as well. So, yeah, and so they passed. All of Class 1A passed the first test. And the way they did it at the end was amazing. Because the guy pointed out an interesting pattern, which was that each time the UA class was targeted, none of them had been taken out. They were targeted but not defeated, which was awesome. So because they weren't defeated, it was kind of interesting because there were a ton left in the field, and there were 9 of them left when there were 18 spots left and 9 UA students left. Finally, after all the fighting and stuff, Ida found Aoyama, and it was kind of we had this very interesting development moment with Aoyama, because he was clearly not the most popular student. Clearly he had a bit of a different childhood, it seems or at least he as a child was very different. I don't exactly know. I'd like to learn more about his backstory, but apparently it was, he was always different. But he decided to use his power to signal. He fired his lasers straight into the air and signaled everybody to show up, which he signaled everybody, everyone on the field came to that one spot. And because it was just Ida and Aoyama, it's oh shoot, well, they're done. But everyone, all of Class 1A showed up. They all passed, which was freaking awesome. The last 2 spots available for the passing class were taken by Ida and Aoyama, which is just incredible. So it was a very I like it because it felt earned, because clearly with the UA Sports Festival we see that the writer has no problems at all taking away plot armor. And what I mean by that is everybody kind of assumes, or at least I had assumed, and I would think with the power that Deku had, some other people, probably not just me, assumed that he would win the sports festival. Like, hands down, he would win the sports festival, but he lost. He lost to Todoroki in the sports festival, and not only that, but he was, permanently injured, and he's been injured multiple times. So we see that there's no concern about plot armor. Like, the writer does not really use it too often. So the victory of every single character in this show during this test proved that not using plot armor means that when something as extraordinary as this happens, it feels more deserved. It feels like, yes, they earned this. They deserve this. And I genuinely appreciate that level of storytelling and that attention to detail. So that was good, and I liked that a lot. And so they all passed. Only one guy from the other class didn't pass. Of course, we already said he was taken out by Bakugo. I like Bakugo's, like, how just crazy and violent he can be. Like, because they took out the one dude, and it was like, yeah, he wasn't the only, like, we weren't the only ones here. He balled up a bunch of people, and Bakugo's just like, I know. Like, I love that about Bakugo. He has no problem just being like, yeah, what about it? Let's take him out. So that was fun. Otherwise, the end of the episode, actually, after the post-credits, because I was not sure, I'm like, well, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe rescue, maybe some one-on-one fighting. It's rescue. And we see that because at the end, we have an end button scene, not just the trailer to the next episode, but an end button where we see they destroyed a bunch of the buildings and a bunch of the environments in the field that they were in, and now they have to go rescue people. So that is actually really, really cool. So we get to see how they do that. And Deku's face, like, so excited. I love that face, because he seems like the kind of person where if I were to be rescued by any sort of hero, I think Deku would be the one I'd love to be rescued by, just because he is so enthusiastic and just overjoyed. And people even said, it's like, when you're rescuing people, you're rescuing somebody who's been through a traumatic situation. What was this? This was, oh gosh, that was All Might's tutor said that. All Might's teacher said that, where it was like, if you're rescuing somebody, chances are they've been through a traumatic experience. So those who smile the most are the ones, pull my mustache up, those who smile the most are the ones, who will calm that person down. The best heroes are the ones who smile. So I'm excited to see that next episode. But if you guys enjoyed this review, let me know in the comments. If you went and watched the episode and ignored the review, then you're probably not at this point in the video, but head on down to the links if you want to check out some other stuff, if you'd like to become a patron, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, whatever. If you want to leave a comment, subscribe, like, the whole 9 yards, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be there, and have a good one.